The Auburn Tigers have taken down the Ole Miss Rebels, Land Sharks, whatever they call themselves these days, by the score of 91-77 on the road. The Tigers notched their first quad one win of the season. This is our post-game reaction show. As if I can get, I'm so excited I can't get the words out. We're going to talk about the storylines, the stats, and of course the score. Let's get into all that right now. Well, War Eagle Auburn family and War Eagle to our E2C Network family as well. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you're watching live or on the replay on YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitter, all the different places, times, places, and multiverses with which you can get this content. We appreciate you being here and being part of our little family within the Auburn family. As is always the case, we'd love for you to start off the stream by smashing that like button if you think we've earned it. And of course, we'd also love for you to check in with us, post where you're watching from, your city, your state. And if you're international, you can do that as well with a War Eagle. If there's any brave Ole Miss fans that want to pop into the chat as well, of course, you're welcome to be here. But we're going to have a little bit of fun at your expense because this is our reaction stream for Auburn versus Ole Miss. 91-77. Was it 50 something second half points for the Auburn Tigers? If there was any doubt if Auburn's capable of winning on the road, facing adversity, coming back from a deficit on the road in a challenging environment with the narratives really playing against them, that has been silenced tonight. That's not to say there won't be more ups and downs the rest of the season, but this is certainly an acknowledgement that the panic that ensued over Auburn and amongst Auburn fans was very much not warranted. A very, very impressive win for the Tigers on the road to sweep the Ole Miss Rebels on the season, home and away, 2 games in a row. They have been season sweeps. Vanderbilt, now Ole Miss. Unfortunately, we won't be able to sweep Alabama coming up, but we can get that elusive victory, which we will be talking about at the end of the show. But for now, let's focus on Ole Miss. I want to hear y'all's thoughts and impressions. I see the comments already flying in, people saying hello. So let's just go ahead and start right there because I know everyone is excited to talk about all these things. Oh, man, we got Chris. We got Big Simp checking in. Thomas, Jay, Devin's here. Who else is here? Another Chris. We got tons of Chris's all here hanging out with us this evening. WT's here. So many people. I have a feeling that they're going to be the opinions and thoughts flying off the rails tonight. So y'all just keep them coming. We'll do our best to keep up with them tonight. Let me just kind of set the table for us this evening. Again, as I addressed at the start of the show, I know that the previous week was not a great week for Auburn basketball. And I understand that there's a little bit of discouragement when you saw the team playing so well, trying to make sense of what just happened. It was almost a night and day. Well, this is literally night and day again. Granted, you had a home game with Vanderbilt and an away game, but a very, very tough game away at Ole Miss. 2 wins on the week. It does not negate what happened the previous week, but what it does is show you that you can have ups and downs in the season and face challenges and rise to the occasion. There are several players in this game that I think are worthy of player of the game, that are worthy of mention. And I think we're going to be talking about quite a few of them tonight. It felt like at different points of the game, there were stars, players of the game taking over at moments. You know, there's KD Johnson with his shenanigans. You got CBM doing CBM things. Jalen Williams just throwing down some aggression tonight. Janai Broom just locking down as well. Trey Donaldson, I thought, really had a great start to the game too, and several others. I mean, it just felt like everybody who hit the floor tonight, I remember having a great Chris Moore, Chaney Johnson, all of them, Aiden Holloway. I mean, I know Leo Berman, everybody tonight, I felt like I saw making a great play to contribute in some way to this team. A full, complete win on the road. What more could you ask for? And it's a quad one win too, baby. So that's obviously going to make a lot of people happy. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. Again, I may not be able to hit all the comments tonight, but we want to make sure that we try to hit a lot of them. Woo, everybody's still checking in over here. Blake says, War Eagle, good road win. I think Jalen and Katie were mad at Flanagan. A lot of emotions around this game. Obviously for Allen, obviously for his former team. They already got him once at their place. You could tell Allen really wanted this one. He played with an almost reckless aggression towards the last, in the second half, where he was being I think a little bit cavalier for his team, but you want to win against your former team. He did have some pretty good stretches there, much better in this game than in the last game, which you would expect at home. But still, he was just not able to muster enough alone, much less with his team, to get the win against the Auburn Tigers tonight. A lot of emotion on both sides, and rightfully so. See, I think I'm so happy that everyone now can just breathe, because that was been the late. We always pick something as a fan base to just like harp on and focus on. Quad one wins, quad one wins, and I get it; they're important. I'm not dismissing that, but thankfully, everybody can just go. We got the quad one win. Now, look, folks, I know there's hard feelings to Allen. I know there's hard feelings about Ole Miss and Auburn dynamic right now. Thanks to Lane Kiffin a lot, especially today. We got to root for them the rest of the season. We got to hope that they continue to look as good as they have most of the season. All 4 of their losses came in SEC play, to us. And for the rest of the season, we got to be big Ole Miss, Rebel, Black Bear, Land Shark, whatever they are right now. Let's see what else. You almost 90 points both games. Yeah, you expect to score 90 points at home. You do it on the road in that type of environment. That's just impressive. Really, 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 really impressive. Chris says we beat a team at home with a perfect record. Can we carry this energy to South Carolina? I think in one of the big questions, narratives, discussions we were having during the tough week last week was what gives? Why is Auburn struggling when they look so good? I think everybody hopefully is starting to reconcile with this is a really good league. Like this, it's been a really good basketball league for a while. This is a very deep league, more so than a lot of people in the media and other content creators like myself gave credit to teams like South Carolina, Ole Miss. We knew Chris Beard was a great coach, but we didn't think he'd have him ready to go this quickly. So it's a very deep league. And yes, we will need that energy, that performance at South Carolina. It's going to be tough. Going to be tough. Brent points this out. They pretty much erased the lead in the first segment of the second half. Then they took the next step and got on another run. So that's the thing of the past for Auburn, right? So they've gotten into situations on the road where they give up a humongous lead. And in previous seasons, I would say, based on the results that we saw, they didn't have the offense to truly, one, overcome that lead, but get a lead themselves after it and maintain it. This is a team that can overcome circumstances they put themselves in and then continue on, because that's how good they can be offensively. They are great defensively. They show pretty consistent, minus a really bad week offensively. This is why we continue to say this is a team that's really good and deserves to be, yes, in Sweet 16 conversations. And before the losses, we talked about Elite Eight. I know that feels a little bit premature right now to be kind of going back to that. It is, but this is a good basketball team. 90 on the road in conference play is impressive. The slow first half on the road are killing me, but it makes sense. If you're going to a place like Ole Miss with the reputation they have for what they built there, their facility, you're going to struggle on the road. I mean, any team will in that environment, at least to start out with, because that's why it doesn't matter how you start. It matters how you finish. It's kind of a, philosophical thing for life that you can talk about too, right there. Big Simp says, we realize Broome needs the ball more in the second half. If we play inside to outside, we will be hard to beat in the tournament. Broome is a great passer when he's double teamed. He does have great vision. He recognizes when he needs to assert himself, but he also recognizes when asserting yourself, even if you think you can get that basket, may not be the wise choice. I think his basketball smarts really showed today, along with his scoring. If you're Janai Broome, you point to this game when you go to the NBA draft this season, and you say to them, look, I'm not saying I'm a top 5 pick. I'm not saying I'm a top 10 pick, and you might be, but look at this and tell me that you're not going to get a well-rounded player that can do a lot of different things for you. Shot the ball on the outside, shot the ball from, long from 2, dominate on the inside, smart vision in the paint, whether to continue on trying to muscle that ball up there or to find someone to dish it out to, and did that several times tonight. Janai Broome is a really great basketball player, and he really showed that tonight. So a lot of things that I could just gush on and on. Do they hold KD back to the second half? No, Chris, and this is a good point I want to bring up. We tweeted this out, and I said, and it was me who typed it out, that I love this year's version of KD Johnson. And what do I mean by that? KD is an enigma sometimes. You saw at the end of the game there with a technical foul, which I forgive a little bit in that situation. I wish he hadn't. But hey, listen, man, it's, you're on the road. Give him the business a little bit every once in a while. It's fine. I think even Bruce will be like, look, okay, don't be doing that every game. But hey, man, it was good. But what I mean by KD, as erratic and crazy and psycho as he can be sometimes, he's a really good basketball player, and he's showing that. He passed up on what would have been a typical KD three-point shot with a hand in his face and got it out to a corner where somebody else made the three-point. That's just one example of what he did tonight. Take it into the lane. He's become really good at that. KD Johnson has taken the next step in his game in what will likely be his final year at Auburn. I think he maybe could stay for another year if he wanted to, but he's playing really well. This version of KD is really good, and I'm really excited that he's playing this well right now. I'm not certain, but I don't think we missed a free throw tonight. Let's go look, Mr. Blake. We did miss free throws tonight. Not a great free throw night for Auburn, actually, but not a lot of those attempted. Jalen's tomahawk dunks just made me, I was sitting downstairs watching the game with my wife, and she had to tell me to stop jumping up and yelling every single time, because every time Jalen threw it down, I got pumped. Absolutely pumped. Let's see here. If anyone used the off season to show the world this year, one was a learning curve. He will be a great center in the NBA. His basketball IQ is Tom Brady-ish. Whoa, that's high praise right there. Schedule doesn't get easier. Grind time. Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a little bit. A lot of people really enjoying celebrating the win tonight, and you should. All right. Again, keep the comments, questions, storylines coming, things that you want to talk about, but let's walk through some stats real quick. Let's look at team stats tonight, what I want to know from you. And as I look at this stat line sheet, it's pretty, let me refresh it actually real quick. It's pretty evenly spread in terms of a lot of players having an opportunity. So who's your player of the game? Right now in the chat, live, you can participate in this in the replay if you want to as well. But for the live folks especially, I want to know right now one person's name. Don't give me a long explanation. Just let's do like a group vote in the chat right now. Who's your player of the game? And give me that, and then let's kind of talk about that, and maybe we can make a decision together. Jalen Williams tonight leads the way with 16 points. I'm actually shocked by that. I had no clue that he had 16 points because it just kind of escaped me at some point. I think he is obviously a candidate there. Janai with 15 points tonight, 9 rebounds, one shy of a double-double, took over in the second half. That deserves some credit. I think Trey, if he had a little bit stronger of a second half, would have been very much in this conversation too. 10 points tonight. You could say KD. Denver Jones with an elusive 11. I wasn't aware he had 11. Chad Baker-Mazara also with 15. So it's not just all about the points, but who is your player of the game? Let us see. And don't be cheating with the all stuff, Big Simp. I know I appreciate it, but let's pick one. Let's see. CBM, Trey Donaldson, CBM. We got a lot of CBMs tonight. Jalen Williams, very nice, very nice. I think a lot of people are going to go that way. Denver is the X factor going forward. I actually agree with that, Chris, a lot. If he gets going, this team's going to be unstoppable, like on a consistent basis. I'm fine with the CBM win tonight. I think his energy was KD level, but in point or in check down a little bit. So yeah, I'm good with that tonight. By the way, if you guys are you having any connection issues, because I'm seeing a little bit of slowdown on my end, let me know in the chat. I think we're okay, but I watch it back in the video down here, and sometimes it gets a little bit behind. So let me know if we're having any issues. All right, we talked about player of the game. Let's look at Chad, since you guys said he was the player of the game tonight by majority. 15 points, 5 for 10 from the field, 3 for 6 from three-point land, 2 for 2 on free throws, 9 rebounds, almost a double-double for him, 2 assists, only 1 turnover in 26 minutes of play, which is tied for second most in playing time tonight. Yeah, he probably, don't forget Jalen, but he's probably got the stat line of the night, so I'm fine conceding that to the group vote that Chad Baker-Mazara is the leading scorer tonight. All right, here's the rest of the scoring. Chris Moore with a crucial 3. Don't forget that, a crucial 3 when he knocked that one down. Aiden Holloway with 6. Chaney Johnson with 4. Only ones that don't get on the board are Berman and Cardwell. But I do want to give a shout out to Cardwell. I thought he did a really good job at times tonight, asserting himself defensively down low. In fact, he doesn't have a personal foul at all. He played very aggressive down there, and so I got to appreciate that from him too. Let's see. What do you guys think about the individuals? Any commentary about that? Denver Jones is sneaky good. No one thinks of him, but he comes through in the clutch. Here's the thing, though, with Denver. He is going to continue to get more and more attention. He may have surprised people up to this point, and they continue to negate really focusing on him, but they will now. The good thing is that even if that's the case, Auburn's got a bunch of other guys that can just catch on fire, and then you kind of have to give them some more attention, which opens CBM back up. Yeah, we talked about the KD dunk at the end. Again, as a professional-minded person, and that you wish that doesn't happen, but at the same token, let's have a little fun, especially how it looked. Yeah, I don't think we're having connection issues, but I think it looks a little bit better now. Yeah, because it was a little bit slow on my end and the rewatch thing, but I think it's corrected itself now. And some of your comments were coming in a little bit delayed too, so it had me worried for just half a second. Williams is so consistent. Most of the season, he has been very consistent. What I like is he stepped up his game to a new level and has consistently stayed there. And consistent means more often than not, right? You're not, well, I guess consistent means you're doing it all the time, but we're arguing semantics at that point. How long do we have CBM? I think he's a junior. So hopefully one more year. Hopefully. I saw Bruce pushing Jones more tonight. Well, that, if I recall, he did talk about him in maybe 2 press conferences ago, talking about really wanting more from Denver, and talked about the importance of what he's going to mean to the team down the road. And you saw some posts from them this week trying to say to people, I told y'all Denver was coming along. Williams is the Cody Burns of basketball. He's that dude. I would say he's a step above Cody in terms of comparing what they mean to the team, because as important as Cody was to that championship team and just the team in general and the program, Jalen has a little bit of star power with him too. So he's got the Cody Burns feel with the star power and production now at this point in the season, a little bit more consistently than normal. So it's a good analogy. I agree with it, but I'm going to take it a step further. It's a little bit beyond that comparison, but I like it though. I do. Depth really played a factor tonight, and that's what's going to really play well for Auburn most of these games. Last week, it did not really benefit us much, and there are going to be nights like that. But more often than not, the depth is just going to kill other teams. So there we go. All right, keep the comments and questions coming about individuals. Let's look at, we're about 20 minutes into the stream, so we need to talk about some team stats tonight. Let's look at these things. All right. 55% from the field for Auburn tonight. Now, Ole Miss was shooting a lot better than Auburn to start off the game. Is anybody else tired of going to an opponent's arena and them just having the best shooting game of their life? It's kind of like I was talking about with Alabama, the game there. They played probably one of their, and they'll of course tell you they didn't, but that's just the Alabama mentality. Played one of their better games, especially shooting games at home, and they still couldn't hold on to a lead. And it took, the last seconds of the game, minute of the game for them to really secure the win for themselves. So Auburn's going to get people's best. That clearly is going to be the narrative most of the season, but it's not about it's always about how you respond to getting someone's best. What was it 13 points down at one point tonight, came all the way back and then asserted themselves into a double-digit lead themselves. 44% from the 3-point land. That'll help. 42% for Ole Miss as well. That'll help them too. That's what really propelled them forward in that game. All right, let's talk about the most important 3 things that I always focus on here: free throws, turnovers, rebounds. Free throws tonight, Auburn only 69%, 9 for 13, but they don't shoot a whole lot tonight. Still, got to do better than that on the road. If you make 2 more of those, you're probably close to 80%, doing quick math in the head. We lose the battle. Ole Miss 76% tonight. Turnovers, Auburn has more, but Ole Miss had some really bad ones in the second half and towards the end. 11-8. Auburn loses that one. Rebounds tonight. Rebounds. Everybody look at this one right here. Look at this thing right here. 42 to 26. Let me say that again. Auburn 42, Ole Miss 26. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So all 3 of those I stress as super important for the game, for any game, in terms of who's going to win this thing. But even if you lose a lot of those other categories like free throws and turnovers, you'll see a lot of times that a team dominated in that other particular group. And a lot of times they win. So rebounds tonight, and we saw that early. That's really what helped Auburn keep themselves in the game. So great job for the Tigers tonight, rebounding offensively, defensively. It's really hard to ignore how well they did there. Not a lot of free throws by either team. They did let everybody play a little bit, and you got to appreciate that in this day and age after some of the games that we've seen where there's just been a lot of stoppage in play. But yeah. Let's see here. Second chance points were good too. Yeah, let's walk down through some of the other ones. Need the rebound edge against Bama coming up. Absolutely, we do. All right. Other team stats, second chance points are pretty good. 15-9 Auburn win. Look at this one. Bench points, 36%. 36 points from the bench, only 8 for Ole Miss. Who even scored for them? Alan Flanagan had it. I didn't even look at his stat line tonight. Let's give credit where credit is due. Alan Flanagan wanted this one, played like it, 20 points for him. Much better showing for him. I know he had some slips, some falls, and turnovers tonight, but look, this is a guy that went to a team that probably needed him more than he needed them. He became probably and maintained star status with them. And most nights he's going to be up there for the Ole Miss Rebels and should. So happy for him, but happy it really didn't matter. He just needs more help from his teammates, which he really didn't get a lot of tonight, at least from the bench alone. Points in the paint, pretty fair amount for both teams, but Auburn gets a significant amount more, 44-32. Pretty even defensively. Assists 25-20 in Auburn's favor. So yeah, a lot of good stats tonight to look at, but I think the big stat that you look at is the rebounds tonight. It was a big factor in the first and the second half. Can we say a collective thank you to AD Jacobs, former AD, for having the guts to bring Coach Pearl to Auburn? I know a lot of people still don't like him, but you have to give him his due. I'm going to take that a step further, and I think a lot of people probably still have hard feelings toward Jay Jacobs, but they also probably have hard feelings toward Alan Green. Alan secured Bruce Pearl. I would say of all the things that didn't go well through the totality of Alan Green's tenure as AD, I think you can really chuck that one up for him too and say that's your big get right there. You're securing of that. That's a notch in his belt. And so if you want to thank Jay Jacobs, thank Alan Green for securing him. And you would say, well, look, any AD would have done that. Yeah, sure, maybe. But he still got it done. Effort and want to in rebounding is crucial. And tonight it did look a lot better. You are right, Chris. These two Ole Miss games made me miss Alan Flanagan even more than when he left. he has a tremendous amount of talent. He does. I think he carries a lot on his shoulders, and fortunately, sometimes that comes out in the not so best ways. A lot of times he took it a little bit too aggressively tonight. But he is a tremendous talent. I hate that he didn't want to stick it out here with us, but I think he'll probably get more attention, and rightfully so, because have you seen how deep Auburn's team is with being at Ole Miss? Yeah, I did think that Wes looked over at the other sideline longingly tonight. All right. What else? What else haven't we talked about? Storylines, stats, things like that. We're going to wrap that all up for you. Look ahead here in the last part of the show, but let me go ahead and remind you of what's coming up here at E2C Network, what to look forward to. If you're not joining us on Sunday nights, what are you doing? You're missing out. The Auburn Experience, the live recording of our main show, our main podcast. It is the thing that powers everything that we do here at E2C Network. The Auburn Experience tomorrow night, 9 Eastern Time, episode 65. We will likely be talking about this team in more detail. Probably going to talk about that scoreboard just a little bit more, and many, many other things in sports, culture, and family. 9 Eastern Time, Sunday nights. Do not miss it. And of course, you do not want to miss Wednesday night, the Auburn Alabama postgame live stream, just like we're doing here right now. That one is going to be fun. Either way, even if we lose, because it's the Auburn Alabama game, there's a lot of thoughts and energies and opinions about it. Don't miss that. Right now, we are not planning to do any type of call-in show that day because of the game being during our normal time. So that's going to happen a lot during basketball season. We'll just have to deal with it, unfortunately. So that's what to look forward to. Of course, check out the links in the description for any way that you want to help support us here at E2C Network. All right, let's kind of bring this to a head, look ahead a little bit too. Big Simp does want to give a shout out to the girls. What set us apart from most, we don't just rely on football. We can really enjoy things up until football season. It's called being an everything school. The ladies are doing great things as well. They looked a lot more competitive against a team like South Carolina than they typically do, which is saying a lot these days. All right. Looking ahead, we want to do a little bit of that. Alabama game. How are we feeling? Alabama's playing well. They played one of their better games against us, at least shooting wise, in their place. We know that the Auburn family is going to really want this one, going to really make it a difficult place for the Alabama Crimson Tide. What's our confidence level? What are you guys thinking? I think if we can bring this same type of energy here tonight into Neville, Alabama's not going to stand a chance. I think and I hope what this does for this team is show them that they can respond to adversity, that they cannot panic now if they get down somewhere. Because if you can do this on the road at Ole Miss, you can do this at home versus a team like Alabama at your place much easier, at least with what you have behind you. Need to split Wednesday. Jungle needs to bring it, and they will. Need to rebound and feed Broom. We will be fine. I think, yes, we need to feed Broom, but at the right times. And I think what works really well, as you saw today in other games, is feeding him a lot in the second half. And that really worked. UA game could go either way. So I know I keep rubbing my nose. It's like really itchy. I was outside doing yard work today and like got all up in the dust and stuff. They are a tough team to beat. I feel better at beating UK than UA. So, all right, let's dive into wrapping things up tonight about this game, storylines, all that stuff. For Alan Flanagan, and I know most people won't say this, but I will, because I do miss him in some ways. I'm happy that he had a good game tonight against his former team. It wasn't enough, not a lot of help for him. Auburn, what a great response tonight on the road at Ole Miss for their first quad one win of the season. Hopefully we put that narrative to bed now and that focus to bed and just focus on winning each basketball game going forward. Need to become big Ole Miss fans going forward for the rest of this season. getting some big wins to help them maintain their status of where they are in the SEC in college basketball helps us look better. Same thing for anybody that we've beaten at this point. So nice to get the sweep of Vanderbilt earlier this season. Nice to get the sweep of Ole Miss tonight. Really, really impressed with the way this team responded this week and cannot wait to watch them going forward. Shout out to guys like CBM, Katie Johnson, Janai Broom, Jalen Williams, Trey Donson. You could just name them tonight across the board, and they would you'd just be correct in talking and hyping up each and every one of these guys' games tonight. So really, really excited to see what they will do going forward. I want to thank you guys for joining me, hanging out with me, being part of our little family within the Auburn family. Good show stream, good energy, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow night for our next live stream, 9 Eastern time, the Auburn Experience podcast. But if we don't see you then, till next time, of course, y'all hang out and be good to each other. War Eagle.